So I know I typically record on Tuesdays and on Fridays. Today is Thursday. That puts me doing two back to back, which I've had to do in the past. Now, Tuesday, I was in an all-day continuing education class. So with our licenses in the mortgage industry, since Dodd-Frank, we have to get not only hold the licenses, but then we have to have continuing education. What's that education do? It doesn't tell us how to do our job. It tells us what's the penalties if we do it wrong. So basically tells you what kind of time you're gonna serve for doing things egregious. And man, we talked about some things some people got wrapped up into, some sentences put out, and these guys, they got worse than murder. So absolutely amazing what happens when you're talking about a industry that's now being very, or has been for the last over a decade now, really heavily looked at because of the crash of the of 2008, how it just impacted the globe. Now you step out of line, they're incarcerate your ass forever. You can kill people and get a lot less. So one of the reasons I jumped into this because I was talking a lot of rates for the last couple of days with folks because they're wondering, okay, where are we going to go? Is the rates going to go down? What do you anticipate? We got the Fed talking about lowering. Anytime the Fed's talking about lowering, we definitely want to be cautious about that. But I don't know if they're going to now. We just had the PPI, the Producer Price Index, release this morning, and that was significantly higher than what they anticipated. So you have the PPI was supposed to be at a 0.2 is what they were guessing, right? It ended up being a 0.9, which is monster. And then, of course, the year-over-year number jumped quite a bit. Everything was quite high on that. And as a result of that, a lot of negativity in the market. So I thought, man, we're going to open this up and get really hammered on the bonds. Didn't work the way that I thought. I was having a conversation with somebody last night. It's like, he's like, do you think we should float? Should we lock? I'm like, listen, we can go either way on this. Your upside for float is not really high. Your downside, pretty significant. But we have some pretty heavy strength that's been built in there. And I'll show you guys that strength here in a minute. And we guessed what would happen no matter what happened to the market and it held exactly as we talked about. Now, some of the other driving factors we had in was increase in vegetables, eggs, diesel, jet fuel. All these things are building a pattern of more inflation. What does that do to our bonds? It negatively impacts bonds. Inflation is not good for anything when it comes to long-term security. So we know about inflation. We know what's happening with the dollar's value, right? What happens with the dollar's value of inflation? It declines. One illustration I always like to have, and I carry it with me all the time, is this right here. Sorry about that. 1888 gold piece. It was minted for $20. This $20 is definitely not representative of this $20. This $20 will not buy my shoes. This $20 when it was produced would buy a hat, a suit, a tie, a belt, a shirt, a pair of socks, and a pair of shoes. Again, this won't buy my socks, the $20. I got nice socks. Gotta have great socks, right? So what does that mean for somebody who has a long-term instrument, something for 30 years? If you've got something and a dollar is losing value over 30 years because of inflation, you're actually making less every time somebody's making a payment to you. That's always been the key to a long-term mortgage. You guys get caught up in, pay extra and pay it down because of all the interest. You're not understanding the economics when it comes to inflation. The value of the dollar is dropping dramatically. 1994, I talk about this a lot. I walked into my very first Taco Bell, had two crunchy tacos, two bean burritos, and a drink for $1.99. If you go through the drive-through now or walk in, it's about $14. That's an 800% swing in the dollar's buying power over that period of time. The tacos didn't get bigger. They didn't discover that they're a superfood and they can charge more. No, the value of the dollar has declined that much. That barely gets you two tacos, two bean burritos, and a drink. That. So as a result of that, how much are you really giving your mortgage company when you're paying it off over 30 years? So don't pay those extra payments. So what we have coming into us is, I'm sure the Fed's probably not going to cut the rate, but if they do cut the rate, what happened last time? We talked about it. The rates went up significantly. So don't hold out on that one. Some of the driving factors also that we had was the jobless claims coming out. That's going to move the needle for us. In fact, when you have that kind of inflation coming, especially in the PPI, the Producer Price Index, that's going to impact jobs. So that could help us settle out to stay a little more stable. But I don't see interest rates getting better. I don't see any reason for you to hold out. I'm probably going to be pulling some triggers today on the locks. But look at this. Yes, like I'm talking about right here. We have held this area quite a bit. We've held this line. So pretty much the rates have been effectively about the same since August 4th. Not a lot of movement. We did see it go up a little bit up to on the 12th. And then we saw saw it got a little bit better, but it's effectively what it was back on the 4th. Because you can see, if you look along this line, they're all settling within that same range. Today it opened up high and dropped down. Where? Right on that line. So that line is the support. I think we've got another support right here. We might keep playing it right here, but look what's right above us. What's right above us is our big ominous block that's going to keep things from getting better. That's the one where the value of the security was based upon quantitative easing. If we squeeze it all the way back to 2022, or when it fell down below it, we just can't get above it. This is what's going to stop us, I think, permanently from getting any better interest rates, unless somebody prints a bunch of money and throws it into the market. We're right within that range. I think we would deflect off of it here, like we did here, and go back down. That's about where we're at. So I'm not in a position to believe that we would want to float this sucker out for very, very long. But that's up to you. You're the CEO of your real estate investment business. If you're in a position to lock an interest rate, that's your call. And when you lock it, my advice, move forward onto something else. Forget about it. Lock it, move forward. Watching the news, did I do the right thing? Did I not do the right thing? Come on, guys. That's just going to drive yourself crazy. Just move forward your business. You're a business person. You own a business. That's rock and roll that way. Appreciate you. I'll get you more data tomorrow. See what's happening.